Hey guys, welcome back to the Study Survival Podcast with study tips, tricks, and study hacks that stick. Arnold, how's it going?
Do you know what? It's going well, but this time, Will, last time I just completely just spoke about myself and didn't ask you. So we're going to start off with you. How are you doing, Will?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm excited
Yes.
about this episode.
Great.
I know you've got lots of stuff to share.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to just delighting in the wisdom of the things you've got to bring. I think it's going to help me study.
Yeah. Hey, it's helping me.
Excellent.
Yes.
I mean, we're all continuously learning, right?
Yes.
So
we
like
are.
even in day-to-day jobs, the stuff is immensely helpful.
Yeah, that's right. I'm doing well, by the way. Will,
Good,
thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Thank you for asking. And everything has been going pretty good. I'm also really pumped to start chatting.
Sweet. So every week we give a study snippet, right?
Yes.
Like a short study tip.
Yes.
What do you have for us this week?
Oh man, this one's easy to follow, and it's literally 25-5 or 50-10. All right, so I did 50-10, but some people prefer to do 25-5. What that basically means is you've got 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of rest, or 50 minutes of work and 10 minutes of rest. If you have that kind of routine, it works really, really well. It's not good to just be working full throttle throughout. You're going to lose focus, lose concentration, and you're not going to remember anything that you've learned. You need to give your brain time to process this information. 25-5, 50-10, up to you.
That's really good. So like in day-to-day jobs, people will often sit at the desk for a very long time,
Yes.
but they might just be doing tasks that they're used to doing, not taking in loads of information. But when we're revising, our
Yes.
brains are taking in information
Yes.
and it needs the time to process that, right?
I mean, think about doing like a marathon run. That's what your brain is doing. You got to take a break. You can't just be running every single day. It's going to hurt.
Got it. That makes sense. I think I'd even do like 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off.
Great. I think that works. As long as it's consistent and there's a lot of learning going on, it's fine. Yeah.
That's awesome. Arnold,
Yes.
every week you tell me the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
And then I spend the rest of the day just contemplating my life.
Yes.
So what is today's outrageous or funny thing that's happened to a student?
Is it funny? No, but there's a really good question that comes from it.
Oh, okay.
And I was actually trying to think of the answer myself, and I realized I don't have an answer, so we'll see.
I'm excited.
Anyway, one student said that gravity was invented by Isaac Walton, which isn't true. And they worked it out that during autumn, when apples fall, that's when they invented gravity. One person believed that, and I was wondering, Will, for you, this is literally a question on the spot. Was there ever a time where, for a long period of time, you literally just believed something, and then when you were a lot older, you realized that's just not true?
I mean, yes, loads. Can I think of them?
Yeah, I'll tell you one.
Go on.
Yeah, great. So it's not necessarily to do with work, but my mum used to tell me that instead of a tooth fairy, whenever I lost my teeth, she would send it to my grandmother, who would then send £5 back, or £1, depending on whether things were tight, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then when I was about 19, I was like, well, that's just so impossible. That's just unnecessary to do. Why would anybody do that? Yeah. So that was one thing that I believed until I was 19. I was like, Mum, that wasn't true, was it? She said, of course it wasn't. Yeah.
So wait, so you thought your mum sent in the post?
Genuinely. Yeah.
Your tooth
My tooth.
to your grandma,
Yeah.
and then she would then send the £5.
I genuinely
Nice.
believe that. And it was actually world changing for me when I was in uni, by the way, university.
Wow.
And I thought, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Things don't align over here.
Man, when I was 4 years old, my sister had just been born. I remember my parents giving me a toy and saying, this is from your sister. You know, it's quite like a common technique parents use for siblings. And even as a 4-year-old, I was like, how? That doesn't make any sense. Does she have money? My newborn baby sister, does she have money? Is there a shop in my mum's stomach?
Yes.
I need to know this information.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense to me.
No.
Excellent. Well, yeah, gravity was invented by Isaac Walton in the autumn.
Yes.
Isaac Newton, and it was invented. So before that, everyone was just floating around. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Great.
let's move on.
Let's get into our study deep dive. So what's the meat of what we're talking about today?
We are going to be continuing the conversation around how can you move your grades from a 4 to a 6 or a C to an A, whether you're doing GCSEs or an A level. We looked at the last time 3 things, and we're going to continue that conversation. We're going to be looking at 3 more things. If you are just joining in for the first time, go back and look at the first 3 things that we looked at on how to move your grades forward. But this part is also equally as important as the last one.
I'm very excited.
So the 4th one is error log and redo.
Okay.
What that basically means is every time you do a test paper, work out the things that you got wrong, write a log of them, and then you have a database of questions and topics that you had gotten wrong, and then you can redo those types of questions.
Okay, so I was always really tempted to just keep doing the topics that I really liked. I understood. Classic. I'm like, oh, I know about this. Let me just revise this. Well, I'm doing great. Pat myself on the back. But the reason why we do mock exams, right, is to figure out the topics that we're not very good at.
Yes.
So that we can actually go over those.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And the issue is as well is people might feel that they're good at it. When they do this log, they'll realize even though they might know the answers to the question, they don't know the right keywords for that particular answer.
Sure.
So then they can actually, the way that to do that log is literally what the question was, what that topic is about, what you got wrong, what keywords should have been put in. And that way, anytime you get a question like that in that topic, next time you'll know exactly, right, these are the type of keywords, or this is the type of answer that I've got to do. Having that spreadsheet there just organizes your life a lot and makes revising a lot easier, because now you're optimizing your learning on the things that you're actually struggling with, the gaps in your knowledge.
I love how structured that is. Yeah, and that means like your weakest topic can become your most confident.
Yeah. Oh topic, my goodness. That's like the golden chalice, turning those things around. Yeah. So that it becomes your strongest.
Instead of it coming up in the exam paper and freaking out, you're like, yes, I can do this. Yes. I can get 4 marks.
Yes. I don't know about you, Will, but I did it. And I'm sure a load of other students did it, where you know an exam or a test is coming up and you're praying and you're saying, God, please don't let this topic come up. Please. Yes. You don't want that to happen. Error log, redo is a way to go against that.
I love that. That's brilliant. All right. What is tip number 5?
So tip number 5 is the spaced weekly plan. What that basically means is it is better to be consistent as opposed to cramming. Everyone wants to cram. I want to talk to you. I actually did a talk this weekend about this particular topic. So I want to talk to you about anxiety. And I think I named this anxiety the panic monster. Right. I was talking to you about anxiety and the panic monster. Basically, what tends to happen is you have a plan and you say, I've got loads of time. I'm going to put this amount of effort for the first term. I'm going to increase it slightly for the second term. By that third term, when the exam is actually coming, I'm going to be ready. I'll put in 50% of effort, but because I did that 25 and 30% in the first and second term, I'm all good to go and I'm ready for that particular exam. Then what typically happens is you're a teenager, you've got friends, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all of these distractions prevent you from actually being able to put the work in that you want to do. The second term comes, you say, it's okay. If I just increase my effort a little bit more, and in the third term, increase it a bit more. So this time, the 30% effort that I was hoping to do, I'm going to turn that to 50%. And the 50% effort that I was hoping to do in that third term, I'm going to turn that to 80%. I am going to be good to go. All of a sudden, there's more distractions. There's less time to actually get stuck in on the work. Things prevent you from getting stuck in on your work, and that third term comes. And then, boom, you decide you're going to put more effort. But as time goes on, you become more overwhelmed with what you've got to learn. You learn less because you're so overwhelmed.
Wow.
The panic monster comes in. That's what happens. And what does the student decide to do? They decide to cram. Cramming doesn't work. Well, it does work. It could work. But I think it's a ridiculous way of approaching.
It's not the most effective way.
It's not the most effective way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you feel like I've got this exam in the bag. Again, you're deep in your knees praying, saying, please, only the topics that I've studied, let that come in the exam. It might happen, but it might not.
And it's particularly, it's a particular problem with students with ADHD,
Yes.
leaving things to the last minute.
Yes.
And then suddenly the last minute drive to then cram comes.
Yes.
And then you do all the
Yes.
cramming and, I don't know, mixed results with that one.
Yeah, so what I found with the students who have ADHD is actually trying to support them to develop the panic monster a little bit earlier.
Sure.
Because it's good. Sometimes it's good to be under stress because it allows you to actually make things happen. But it's good to use that stress in the right amount of time as opposed to literally last minute. So ways to do that might be setting actual deadlines for certain things. We're going to do this test on this particular day. As a tutor, I would say this. We're going to do this test on this particular day. Be ready. And I find that some of our students, because I'm the tutor, would say, oh my gosh, I better start revising. And they are good to go. That panic monster starts to set in a little bit early, but it's not a big, huge panic monster where you feel so overwhelmed with the work that you've got to do that you start crying, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be able to make it happen. All of that, it helps. Anyway.
That's really good. We've got an episode on studying with ADHD as well, because there are various different techniques you can use, whether that's like little treats, body doubling, setting up your environment in a certain way.
Nice.
So check out that episode with Blair, who has ADHD.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for spaces then? Literally what I would say is just decide 1 week you're going to cover this amount of topics and just do that for that week. Don't worry about, I need to do more. No, just do those. And then the next week, do these topics and so on and so on. If you do that with good time, by the time your exam comes, you're laughing.
That's good. That's really good. And maybe even ask someone to keep you accountable with those things, whether that's a parent or if you're lucky enough to have a one-to-one tutor.
Yes.
That's really helpful. But trying to, like, I remember setting up these schedules, like you've just said, but then not sticking to them. So you've got to keep them realistic as well, don't you?
Yeah. It's got to be realistic. And people think that they have the capacity to do like 20, 30 topics in 1 week.
Yeah.
And then they get disappointed after. The first week, they probably achieve it. But the second week, they're like, oh no, or something comes in the way, right? Just do 5. But you got to give yourself enough time.
Brilliant. That's awesome. That's tip number 5.
Yes.
What's tip number 6?
The last one, which is equally as important as all the others, is this is why many students get incredibly overwhelmed when it comes to studying. It's because they don't have good focus rituals. So early on in this podcast, I spoke about do the 25-5 or 50-10. What does that ultimately mean? Do 25 minutes of studying, 5 minutes of a break, 50 minutes of studying, 10 minutes. You choose which one you'd prefer. And I know, Will, you were saying, actually, maybe even make it 20 minutes of studying, 10 minutes of a break. Either way, it works. That's all good. But you need break time because your brain needs time to process everything that it's learned and to actually just rest up because it's been on high revs for 20 minutes because it's not easy to comprehend all those concepts in your book. So you need some time to let it sit and to move from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. A little 5-10 minute break is going to give you that and move you forward.
Great. So I've done 25 minutes of revision.
Yes.
I stay sat there, pull out my phone.
Yes.
Scroll.
You can.
No, Arnold. This is the number one mistake students make when resting. During their revision, get up, move around, change your environment, walk up and down the stairs, get your body going. Because I feel like if you don't change the environment you're in, you can't rest very well. Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know.
Yes, that is actually true. What I found is that when students actually, they finish studying, what I used to do is I used to go to the kitchen, get myself a bit of water, and then I used to reward myself coming back. I'd probably go to another room, a play, quote unquote room. So maybe my study room would be my literal bedroom. My quote playroom might be the living room for 5 minutes. Then I might reward myself with a video or two, and then I'd go right back to studying after that time.
Nice. I like that. If you can get outside, if you're lucky enough to have a garden, walk up and down the garden, maybe get outside, walk around the block, walk up and down the stairs, anything to do to give your brain a bit of a break from being sat in the same environment just helps tremendously.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is
it's really awesome.
important. And what that does as well, by the way, is it allows you to focus for longer. People think if I just spend 3 hours of focus, I am good to go. I'm going to smash it out. But what you find is if you do that 25-5, you can actually probably cover 5 hours worth of content as well.
Yes.
And you can do the 3 hours you were hoping to do, you can do that in 2 hours because you're so efficient in that time that you're using to study.
That's really good. It's an endurance thing.
It is.
It's not a sprint.
No, not at all.
Yeah, really good. That's so helpful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So every week we also have a parent tip.
Yes.
A tip for parents. What's the most important thing parents of students need to know when supporting their child?
If a parent can shift from being a micromanager, wanting to see every piece of detail that their child is doing, into a coach and helping the child understand actions have consequences. How can we make it so that you can achieve the things that you really want, but also actually move forward as a student? Getting them to think for themselves might be really helpful. One great thing that works really well with teenagers is get into a car and just drive. So one tip that I've gotten from a few parents is the best deep conversations that we have is when we're going from journey A to B. So for one example, I actually heard this today, was a dad is hoping to take his son to a football game. All right. Tottenham's going to be playing. He's hoping to take him to a football game. And he wants to do that obviously because he likes football, but also he's used that as a tool to have deeper conversations that he needs to have with his son.
Nice.
Sometimes I know parents want to do this. They come home from work, they see their child is just chilling, and then they want to have a deep conversation then. And then all of a sudden the child switches off.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. You've got to think more tactfully and actually turn this chilling into a reward. Hey, you're chilling. On the weekend, we haven't spent time together. Do you want to go to McDonald's? And then on that weekend, on the way to McDonald's, say, how's things going with your work? What do you think you need to be doing? How can I be helping you through that? And the argument that you've avoided, and even though they've missed, let's say, 3 days of studying, you might gain 5 days of studying later on down the line. Whereas if you hadn't maybe challenged them in that moment, you might have had 1 day of doing it because they want to keep mum happy, and then the rest of it wouldn't have been strong. So shifting from micromanagement to coaching is a lot better. Through driving is a tip.
Yeah, and just getting on your child about getting the work done, it can feel like, to them, it can feel like you're not on their team.
Yeah.
It almost feels as though you're just trying to get on them about getting work done, and it can almost like add to the pressure.
Yes.
Whereas I think doing what you say, that shows that you're on their side, right?
Yes.
Like you've got their back, you're there to support them, make sure they've got all the tools they need to succeed.
Exactly. And parents are the best team member for that child. They're the closest team member. You just want to make sure that the child, the student, feels that too.
Yeah. They usually, well, always know them the best.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So can support in the best way. I'd be really interested to know, if you're a parent listening, like what's the main barrier to helping your child, or the main barrier to your child's GCSE success?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Is it that you don't understand what's going wrong? Is it that they're not motivated? Is it that you don't know how to help them with learning? I don't know. Is there a better way of phrasing that question, do you think, Arnold?
Yes, sure. I think what we'd love to know is what's the main challenges when it comes to interacting with your child and their studies.
Yeah.
It would be really helpful to know. And you might find that just shifting from the conversation being done in the living room to being done in your Kia Sportage might move things along a lot better.
Someone listening has a Kia Sportage and their mind has just been blown.
They're like, how did you know?
How did you know?
Mums, you have Kia Sportages, okay? I know.
That's excellent. We've been the Study Survival Podcast.
Yes, we have.
Take care, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.